Have you ever wondered why certain knowledge keeps getting buried? Not lost, buried. Like, someone decided it was too dangerous for ordinary people to have access to it, and so it got scattered, disguised, tucked inside other traditions, until most people forgot it ever existed as one coherent thing. Well, there's a text, ancient, largely ignored, almost never taught in any school, that contains what I believe is the original blueprint for how energy actually works. Not the watered-down version, the real thing. And what's wild is that once you understand what it actually says, the mechanisms behind it, you start seeing those same principles show up in quantum physics, in Eastern energy traditions, in the way every high-performing person you've ever admired operates. 4 principles, hidden in plain sight for centuries. And by the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through all 4 of them, plus a technique to actually put it into practice. My name is Daniel Moreno, and here's where this starts. There's a figure whose name echoes across almost every major tradition of hidden knowledge, Hermes Trismegistus. And before you check out on me because it sounds mystical, stay with me here, because the story of who this person was, or wasn't, is genuinely strange and worth understanding. The Egyptians knew him as the god of wisdom, the keeper of all sacred writing. The Greeks mapped him onto Hermes, their divine messenger. But the people who actually studied his teachings, they described him as something else entirely, a master of energy itself. Not symbolically, literally, a being who understood how to direct invisible forces with thought and intention, to bend material reality through an understanding of underlying law. Now, was he a man? A god? A mythic composite of multiple ancient teachers? Historians still argue about it. Honestly, I find the uncertainty kind of fascinating, because what survived him isn't a biography. It's a technical manual, the Corpus Hermeticum. And this is what I want to talk about, because here's what most people don't know. The Corpus Hermeticum predates the chakra system, predates pranayama, predates qigong as a formalized practice. And this is the thing that got me when I first went deep on this. If you actually read it, you find all of those systems there in embryonic form. The same principles, the same mechanics, just described in a different vocabulary. The Hermetic tradition was describing a universal life force, a living energy that flows through and connects everything, centuries before those Eastern frameworks were codified. And the reason most people never encounter this text, the reason it got scattered and hidden and folded into other traditions, is exactly what makes it so worth finding again. There's a quote attributed to the Hermetic tradition that I keep coming back to. "He who understands the movement of energy wields the power of the universe." That's not poetry. That's a thesis. That's the claim the entire Corpus Hermeticum is built to support. And what I'm going to do now is pull out the 4 core principles from that text, the ones that actually tell you something actionable about how energy works and how you can work with it. Let's start from the beginning. Principle number 1 from the Hermetic tradition: all is mind. Everything is connected through consciousness. Now, I know that sounds abstract, and honestly, the first time I sat with this, I thought it was just a philosophical position with no practical teeth. But here's what it actually means, and here's the mechanism that makes it real. Your thought, specifically the emotional intensity behind your thought, is directing the channel of energy that flows toward or away from a given reality. Think of it this way. Reality equals the intensity of your focus multiplied by the content of that focus. That's the formula. And the intensity isn't intellectual, it's emotional. How much energy are you running through a particular thought? Because whatever you're emotionally fueling, whether that's a vision you love or a situation you hate, that's what you're actively broadcasting. And here's where this becomes genuinely uncomfortable for most people. The majority of us, when we're trying to change our lives, are spending about 90% of our mental and emotional energy focused on the thing we desperately want to escape. You hate your job, right? You wake up dreading it. You go through your whole day resenting it. You go to sleep thinking about how trapped you feel. And all that emotional intensity, all that focus, is pointed directly at the thing you want to leave. So what does reality reflect back? more of the same. More weight on the exact thing you're trying to put down. I personally think this is the most underrated insight in all of self-development, that the thing holding most people back isn't laziness or lack of opportunity, it's misdirected emotional intensity. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, whatever you think of them as people, there's one thing that's objectively documented in every account of how they built what they built. They held a vision under extreme pressure. Not because they were immune to pain, Musk has talked openly about periods of near physical breakdown, but because the emotional charge behind the vision stayed stronger than the emotional charge behind the fear. That's the principle operating at scale. And that brings me directly to principle number 2, the law of vibration. The Hermetic texts say nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. And the practical reality of this is that there are 2 predominant energetic states you're operating in at any given time. High vibration, which is characterized by flow, ease, expansion, and low vibration, which is heavy, stagnant, contracting. Here's what I find interesting about this. Low vibration states almost always come with a very specific psychological signature. It's the feeling of force. When you're forcing something, forcing outcomes, forcing other people, forcing your own emotions down, you're in a win-lose energy. You're trying to feed yourself at the expense of something else. High vibration, on the other hand, feels like the opposite. It's a giving energy, a sharing energy. Years ago, when I first started making videos and putting ideas out publicly, I was locked in low vibration about it because I was entirely focused on myself. Do I look credible enough? Am I smart enough? Who's going to take me seriously? The moment I shifted the focus to just, what can I share that might actually help someone, the whole thing changed. The pressure dropped. The energy moved. That's not a metaphor. That's the law of vibration working in real time. So if you find yourself stuck in one area of your life right now, genuinely unable to create movement no matter how hard you try, the question isn't, what strategy am I missing? The question is, what is one uncomfortable step I can take to shake the energy loose? An object at rest stays at rest. But the moment you introduce movement, even symbolic movement, even something small, you shift the energetic state. You create flow where there was stagnation, and that's when things start to change. Principle number 3, as above, so below. As within, so without. Your body is not separate from the universe. It is a smaller version of the same structure. And I want to slow down on this one because I think this is where the Hermetic tradition said something that every ancient energy system eventually converged on. And yet somehow we still treat our bodies like they're just vehicles for carrying our brains to meetings. The ancient yogic traditions knew this. That's why they built entire systems of breath work, posture, and movement, because they understood that the physical body is an antenna. The way you hold yourself, the way you breathe, the depth or shallowness of your breathing, these are not separate from your mental and energetic state. They are your mental and energetic state, expressed physically. I'll give you a small but genuinely weird example. A couple of years back, I went through a stretch where my creative output just dried up completely. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was eating fine, sleeping okay, no major external crisis. And then I noticed I'd been sitting hunched over a laptop for months, breathing shallow, chest compressed, basically folding inward for hours a day. The moment I started deliberately changing that, longer exhales, spine upright, actually taking up space with my posture, my thinking shifted inside a week. Not because of some mystical intervention, but because the body and the mind are the same system running different outputs. Change one, you change the other. This is what the Hermetic principle of correspondence is pointing at. The macrocosm and the microcosm mirror each other. The universe has currents of energy moving through it, and so does your body. The spine, in the ancient yogic framework that built on these same Hermetic foundations, is literally understood as an antenna, the 33 vertebrae. A channel designed to conduct energy between the lower survival centers and the higher centers of perception and consciousness. Now, principle number 4, and this is the one that I think determines everything. This is the one that separates people who understand these principles intellectually from people who actually transform their lives with them. It's the principle of transmutation, changing one thing into another. The alchemists, who were deeply schooled in the Hermetic tradition, were obsessed with the idea of turning lead into gold. And yeah, on the surface that looks like proto-chemistry, right? Very expensive hobby, minimal results. But read the actual alchemical literature and it becomes obvious. The lead and the gold are not metals. Lead is low vibrational consciousness, fear, stagnation, reactivity. Gold is high vibrational consciousness, clarity, power, directed intention. Transmutation is the art of taking a negative emotional state and consciously converting it into usable energy rather than letting it drain you. This is what breathwork does. This is what certain mantras do. When you chant a specific sound, you're creating a literal physical resonance in the body. Different sounds activate different areas. You're using sound as a tool for conversion, not decoration. I had a client, I'll call him Marcus here, who came to me in what I can only describe as a vibrational crash. He'd been on a great run, set big intentions, and then everything seemed to fall apart at once. Unexpected bills, a business deal that collapsed, a relationship that was fraying. And he interpreted all of that as evidence that he was failing. But here's the thing, and I want you to really hear this. Every single person who has genuinely leveled up in life has a story that looks exactly like that just before the breakthrough. The universe doesn't reward your intention by making things comfortable. It stress tests it. And the only people who fail that test are the ones who take the hardship as confirmation that the goal isn't possible. When you can flip that, when you can look at the pressure and say, this is the test I have to pass, not the proof I should quit, you've learned transmutation. You've turned lead into gold in real time. And here's what the Corpus Hermeticum understood that most modern self-help doesn't. This isn't just a mindset trick. It's an energetic reality. The moment you refuse to let a negative circumstance drain your energy, the moment you transmute it into fuel, you are literally operating at a different frequency, a different vibration. And reality, which is energy responding to energy, has no choice but to recalibrate around you. So those are the 4 principles. All is mind, the law of vibration, as above, so below, the body as the universe in miniature. And transmutation, the deliberate conversion of lower energetic states into higher ones. These aren't 4 separate ideas, they're one system. And the Hermetic tradition understood that system centuries before any of the frameworks most of us grew up with. Now look, if you've made it this far in this video, you already sense that there's something real here, that this isn't just philosophy, that there's an actual mechanism underneath all of this that explains why some people move through life with momentum and others stay locked in the same loop no matter how hard they try. The difference is energy management, not time management, not strategy, energy. And the Corpus Hermeticum, this text that got buried and scattered and was never supposed to reach you, laid out exactly how it works. So keep this with you. Think about which of these 4 principles is most directly relevant to where you're stuck right now. And if this video gave you something useful, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of thing I'm going to keep digging into. Talk soon.